Ole'Pops here. Y'all hear that storm outside? It's blowing up crazy. Blew in right about the time I had to take Gracie to work, and it's been just hammering ever since. Anyway, I'm sitting here smoking the very first pipe I ever bought. It's a Alpha Big Boy, made from Israeli briar. That's the one that I cleaned up, and Corvette Jim talked me into cleaning her up, bringing her back to life. They're ready to retire her. And some CAO black. I got it upside down? No, I got it right. Smoking Grandpa Bones talked me into giving this a try, talked me into opening it. We was talking about cherry tobaccos, and he told me this was a berry. And I've had it a while, just hadn't opened it yet. I'm glad I did. After the holidays, old Pop be sipping on water. Had a doctor's appointment with Julie Darling today. Last time she went to the doctor, if y'all recall, she tried to get cute with him. A new nurse. She tried to tell him she drank a little rye. She don't drink. She does not drink. But it was a new nurse, and she tried to get playful with the girl. I say last time. It's time before last. Then she went back and tested her blood pressure was a little high. And they called her back without me and was asking her about some of her medications. Come to find out, excuse me, she'd been missing some of her medications she hadn't been on. She couldn't tell the nurse which ones they were. The nurse knew, but she didn't. So she come back out in the waiting room and was going to try to ask me which ones they were. She called me back. I went back there with her. And all of a sudden she got to talking freely with the nurse, and some of the things she said concerned the nurse, concerned her doctor. It's a female doctor. But the doctor suggested counseling. Of course, now Jill was hesitant. She didn't think she needed no counseling, but I suggested that she might want to give it a try. It's always nice to talk to somebody. I mean, I called the incontinence hotline the other day. They put me on hold. But Doctor called and made an appointment for her to meet with a counselor. We went today. And the doctor said to expect good things. Now I know good things come to those who wait. We waited an hour and 45 minutes in that waiting room to talk to them people. They finally called her back and called me with her. And I said, why me? And they said, well, we want to talk to each of you individually, and then we want to talk to both of you together. So, all right. Thought it was kind of odd. Well, they talked to us individually first. Now, keep in mind, Jill don't drink. She takes 2 medications for Alzheimer's that prevents her from drinking. She can't drink while she's taking this medicine. If she doesn't take this medicine, it reverses the effect that it's supposed to help her memory, and if she doesn't take it, it reverses that effect at an alarming rate. So she can't miss this medicine, and she can't drink. So the first thing that she wanted to do was talk to me about Jill drinking. And I explained to her, I said, look, lady, Jill does not drink. So obviously this nurse, I told her, I said, look, she was just trying to be cute and tease with a brand new nurse. She gets that way sometimes. I mean, you know, of all the things that she has retained, and she's you know, she's still bright as, you know, bright as a star. I said, and she has not lost her wit. She has not lost her sense of humor. But she came up with that same old line. She said, alcohol is not the solution. And I told her, I said, now wait a minute. I don't mean to get technical with you, but listen, you're a doctor. You're much, much more a chemist than old Pops is. But correct me if I'm wrong. According to chemistry, alcohol is a solution. And there are times when alcohol is one hell of a solution. Well, she wasn't sure quite how to handle that one. Well, she told me, she said a good thing for me to do was to find a support group. Now, I didn't tell her about the YTPC, but she said that burning bridges from my past would be a good thing for me to do. I told her, I said, well, that's not such a bad idea. Keep the crazies from following me home. I told her, I said, there's a lot of them in our family. I guess she figured that she wasn't going to get nowhere with me because, you know, I didn't feel like I needed to be in there with her. So she called Jill in there, and I went back out. She talked to Jill for a little while. I know it sounds like I'm not being supportive, but a few minutes later, didn't take long for her to talk to Jill, but a few minutes later she called us both in. And we sat there together. And she got to telling us about some of the things that would happen inadvertently to people who had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Like some of the things that you would deal with, some of the things that would manifest themselves. Like the wandering and the schizophrenia, and she come up with kleptomania. And I thought, kleptomania? And I just looked over at her and I said, well, can't you just give her something to take for it? About that time, I guess she figured she wasn't going to get, you know, at some point during the day, it becomes clear to you, and you never know when it's going to happen. But at some point, it becomes clear that you just ain't going to get nothing done. And all of a sudden, you could see that realization dawn on her. And finally, I just looked over at the lady and I said, listen, lady, have you read her chart? Our circumstances are a bit more isolated. She and I both have dealt with Alzheimer's in our lives, and our circumstances are just a bit more isolated. She is struggling right now with Kevorkian syndrome. Right now, when she loses the ability to care for herself, she does not want to live. And that is the biggest fear in my life. Because not only is she being treated for Alzheimer's, she's being treated for chronic back pain. And they're treating her with a narcotic that she could take care of that on her own with, and no one would ever know it. She looked up at me and she said, well, that's not uncommon. And I said, really? Looked over at Julie, darling, and I said, let's go home. She reached up and grabbed my hand. We walked out of that doctor's office. We didn't go home. We went and got us a bite to eat. Then we went window shopping. Looked at all the after Christmas sales. Just went walking through the mall. Not the mall, but the strip mall. We got a huge strip mall. It's an outdoor mall. It's called the Avenue. It's a beautiful place, but we spent the afternoon doing that. They got a K Jewelers there. They had a sign up there that said, "Every kiss begins with K." You know, I disagree. I disagree with K Jewelers. I think that on any given Friday or Saturday night, most kisses begin with a six-pack or maybe a fifth of something stronger. Anyway. You know, they say that light travels faster than sound. That might be why most people appear to be right bright till they open their mouth and speak. I'm Ole'Pops.